Hello, everyone. It's Mr. Barden here. In my last video, I mentioned that I would talk to you a bit about switches. In JavaScript, it's a very handy way to handle a lot of stuff. Responding to one particular thing. So what I'm going to do is kind of combine talking about switches with talking about moving sprites. In that same video, I utilized this exact set of conditional statements in order to move the sprite around on the screen. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm just showing everyone a different way. There's multiple ways to pull this off. It's also how I'm going to be introducing the concept of switches to my students. So, what is a switch? Well, I'll be putting in the description along with this code. I don't need this one up here anymore. A link to this right here, the Mozilla development web docs and all that. And this is the one for switch, and it's pretty straightforward. We have something that we're going to be checking out, and then based off of what that value is, certain things will happen. So let's do that. I'm going to say switch right here, and we have to check for something. So in this case, let's just try key code. Then we get the brackets, right? Yeah, brackets. And then we open up the curly brackets, just like things we've done before. So this value, this is some variable, something that we are checking to see what is it. This could be like in the example that I'll link from the MDN pages. Could be, again, some variable. In this case, we don't necessarily need to do all that. I'm just kind of making essentially another version of this. So for every possible result, we have what's called a case. So this is going to be formatted a lot like a JSON object. So we'll say case colon, it's colon, right? Yeah, no, it's not. No colon here. It's just going to be case, whatever we name it. So case 87 colon, and then whatever we type is what we'll type right here. So we'll say player dot velocity dot y equals -1. Player dot velocity dot x equals 0. So that's going to be the first thing. So if we check and see that key code is equal to 87, then we're going to run those things. We then have to say break at the end of each case, because if that's not the case, it's going to kind of essentially get locked up in there. We have to tell the computer, hey, okay, now we're done, leave the switch and go on to the next thing. What you'll do after that is just go on and say case, what was the next number? 65. Colon, just like so. And then we'll say what we had for if it was 65. Oop. Again, I'm just tidying this up. But you can kind of see where we're going with that. I'm going to be deleting these as we go, just so I'm doing less scrolling. Break case 83 will be this. Case 68. I should say break first. Case 68 colon, what we want to have happen with that case. Break. It's going to get angry at me. So I'll copy this first, then delete these bits, and then tidy it. So what I've got here are just 4 specific cases that we are looking for. So again, every time key pressed is pressed, then it will check to see if whatever value we typed here is equal to whatever we gave the case label right there. So this could be numbers, this could be strings, it could be whatever. Again, I've the ones that I find a lot online are just done with strings. The last thing you can do is say default, and this is where I put the makes it all 0, and break like that. So that way, if if it doesn't match any of these, it will always perform the default example. If I didn't include that, then if nothing matched, it wouldn't do anything. But I like putting in a default just to have some kind of base response. So this is all working properly. We should be able to move the sprite in the various directions using W, A, S, and D. If I press anything else, it stops. Up, hit the L key, it stops. So this, again, is a very handy way to set up things responding to something. So again, if you have one variable that's going to be used to control a lot of stuff, you can set up a switch operator like this in order to control, how things respond. So this is very handy. It's just an alternative to what I was doing with the conditional statements. I'll try to be utilizing switch statements more in the future. But again, just to briefly reiterate it, you designate it with switch, and then it gets the parentheses and curly braces, just like almost everything else in JavaScript. Inside of the parentheses, this is the thing that you are testing, the expression, essentially. And it's abbreviated here as EXPR for expression. This, again, can be a variable, as we see here. It can be a system variable, just some value that we are checking. Inside, we have all of these different cases, and it's going to execute all of the things until it sees a break. Again, it's going to be a little bit more problematic if you don't run into these breaks. So again, you can see we've got the breaks here just to break it off. We can specify other things to happen, and so on and so forth. We've got the default. These are all, give the case a name, give it a value. It's essentially checking, if the expression is equal to the case, do whatever is here. There's, again, a lot of this happening and broken out right there, but you can check all of this in a little bit more detail than I really want to go through in the video. But here's just a lot of extra bits on this webpage, which is very useful. If you have, time, definitely check this out. The W3 schools, which if I remember, I'll put a link to that one as well in the description, has another set of useful parts for the switch operator. So that's where I'm going to be wrapping it out. I'm going to just kind of move into that outro right here. I kind of, again, combine this just with the idea of moving sprites around. I didn't talk at all about the P5 Play version 3 library. So if you are copying exactly what I have done, it's probably not going to work. So check out some of the other videos I'll have in this playlist to make sure that your sketches are running P5 Play version 3 in order to make it work like this. However, switches can be used in anything. It doesn't have to be a P5 Play code. You can utilize them wherever in JavaScript, how we've mentioned it right now. So that's where I'm going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed the video, definitely, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. It is very, very helpful. And I will see you all the next time that I see you. Bye.